Then we have our next startup, built by former Palantir and Swiss Re engineers. Stoneborn automates the entire manual backbone of reinsurance and insurance industry. So please welcome on stage Isabelle, strategy lead at Stoneborn.
I know myself. I'm for sure gonna go over these chairs otherwise, so just making sure that I have at least some space. Cool. Yeah, so I'm Isabelle from Stoneborn, and we're automating the infrastructure of risk capital. So imagine you just came out fresh out of university. And I know for some of us it's a bit longer than for others, but you come out, you're excited, you go into the industry, the real world, and you're going to solve some cases, right? You're an actuary in training, and then you get the bordereaux, or you get the submissions. And just like was mentioned before, you're spending maybe an hour to 8 hours in writing scripts. One script, a VLOOKUP for one specific cedent. 600 cedents a year, 4 times a year, with 5 or more people in the team. In massive amounts of effort being lost in these bordereaux and submissions. We have fallen in love with this problem and many others, and I will share with you how in a year's time we went from an idea to POCs, POVs, pilots, and now in production with 2, and hopefully after tomorrow 3, and many more coming. So there's a problem. Markets are evolving, but reinsurance, what we see, the operations are not. And everyone knows the market is very unstructured. There's a lot of information that sits in these Excels, in PDFs, in XMLs, and yet there's still so much human involvement, even though it's very repetitive work. We see more and more and more how much is stuck in the operations trap. You see there's expertise that goes to execution, knowledge that stays locked in the people. It's nowhere documented, written down, or really how the decisions are being made. Change management stalls, innovation teams come with really cool POCs, yet it doesn't move off from the slides or from the POCs, like was mentioned before, and operations calcify. So, why hasn't it been solved? Consultants, great vision, and I've been one of them for many years. Horizontal platforms, but taking an extremely long time to actually come to, especially with the waterfall techniques, to value. And then custom builds with very uncertain outcomes. So, how have we industrialized, and what are our core values in solving this problem? First of all, we're a team, as mentioned, from ex-Swiss Re underwriters and Palantir engineers that are extremely intelligent and bring number 1 and number 2. So the first thing, process-centric, we have set up a very composable, dynamic workflow. That is basically, you can detail an agent, there you have LLMs or human involvement, and with plug and play you can quite easily adapt and change the workflow based on what is needed in your organization. We're GenAI-native, we started with the platform. It's a bit also from the engineer's background, right? It needs to be secure, it needs to be safe. We have a dedicated instance per client. We can host it wherever, here in Germany, can be in the Americas, really dependent on also the regulatory requirements of our clients. And we're vertical. First time I wrote this down, I wasn't sure why, but vertical means basically we're not covering the end-to-end data value chain, but really go into depth of the knowledge of a reinsurer. So with our underwriter knowledge, that's where it starts, but then together with our clients, we do refinement cycles, and we bake their knowledge into the prompts, into the workflow, and into the agents. What does that give us? Speed. Not just us, but actually the client in the turnaround time of them bringing the bordereaux and the submissions, ultimately extracting the core data for whatever downstream purposes, analytics, audit, invoice reconciliation, which we also, by the way, do. Quality, very important. We have currently on an average of 95% accuracy, but that doesn't mean that the remaining 5% is false, what goes downstream. No, that means that automatically we're able to 95% of the time prepare the information is correct, and then the remaining 5% needs human review, which we have prepared and with validation points and the human in the loop, as all of us know. Control, very important that you have these human in the loop interfaces and proof points, adaptable per client, what is needed there, and ultimately scalability, making sure we start from a small scope. For example, we started now with the casualty, and how do we then grow along all the other lines of businesses? So we're currently live at 2 clients and hopefully 3 as said. For underwriting and our middle office, risk and exposure is currently going in or finalizing the pilot, and we're still looking for partners in delegated authority as well. And how do we do this? We do a proof of run, which is actually something we do with anonymized data within 5 days, or we spin up an instance which only requires 1 day for us, and then we can do it on your data. Then a pilot within 4 weeks, and then going into production very fast. We are Stoneborn. We're growing really fast. We have a lot of knowledge about the industry, and we're super eager to work with you. Thank you so much.